Talk about market conditions. A lot of people, in fact, increasingly, the number of people that ask, have I got a crystal ball, or have no crystal balls, we don't know what's happening. I actually have got a crystal ball. I bought it in the late 80s when the market was tough. And so when people now ask me, I say, hey, I have got a crystal ball. It's not telling me a lot. However, what we've done instead of the crystal ball here today is we've got the heavyweights in property, and that is the President of the Property Council of Australia here in South Australia, Justin Hazel. Welcome, Justin.
Thanks, Toopy. Thanks for inviting me.
Now, we haven't got a lot of time, so I want to really punch out some facts and figures. It's pre-Christmas. We'll talk about the market perhaps in the second segment, but let's just get straight underway. What's it like out there in the property development world now?
Well, it's really tough. It's really tough regardless of whether you're in the land development sector or whether you're in the high density sector. It's really, really tough. But, interestingly, that creates opportunities. And time is now for people to start thinking about where the opportunities might be and positioning themselves to take advantage of those opportunities.
And Justin, everyone talks about the two-speed economy. Is that seen in the building area and in the development area property as well?
Oh, definitely. I mean, the two-speed economy is definitely there. WA, if you're in a mining area, if you're in Queensland or in WA, Gladstone, some of those places that are leveraging off oil and gas, you're booming. Whereas if you're anywhere else in the country, things are tough, so you're struggling.
Now, Justin, I flew back in from Sydney and I was lucky enough to have the window seat and looking out over Adelaide and saw some incredible things happening with regard to Adelaide Oval Precinct and the hospital area and the whole rail yards. And now, clearly, there's an amazing amount of stuff coming through. Give us a bit of a rundown on what you think the government influences are in the market over the next 6 or 12 months.
Well, in terms of the CBD, there's a stack of government influences that are going to really, in my mind, reposition the CBD. Probably the most significant of those would be the emergence of the Riverbank Precinct, which will be a totally integrated recreational facility that integrates with the Adelaide Oval upgrade.
That's going to completely transform this town, isn't it?
Sure is, absolutely. I mean, that is going to change the face of the way people live in Adelaide, without question. And there's also a stack of investment going into new projects like the new Royal Adelaide Hotel, which is a $2 billion investment, and then you've got other things going on like the Rundle Mall upgrades. So I think that things are looking really, really good for Adelaide's future. It's just going to take a while to get over the hump and allow those projects to flow through and allow confidence to regain its position to where it should be.
Now, did you say the Royal Adelaide Hotel or hospital?
Well, I mean, there might be a hotel within the Riverbank Precinct. Did I say?
You actually said hotel.
Well.
I wonder whether it's something I need to know.
That was a faux pas. I mean, there is at this stage the only thing that's committed is the hospital, but there's currently an expression of interest which is going to go out to the marketplace within the next week or so, which is all about generating private investment interest for the Riverbank Precinct, and that may well include a hotel. And I think a hotel in that precinct would be an absolute perler.
And what do you know about the Macris Old Lacornu site?
Oh, well, I think that there's a good chance that'll get up at some stage in the future, but I just don't know on the timing.
Well, I've got some inside information which I can't share actually. Bad luck, but yeah, there's a bit happening there.
Yeah.
Now, also the Property Council will be privy to what the government's up to. Have you heard any whispers around the corridors of what's about to be announced?
Well, as you'd know, there's a mid-year budget review going on. I think that's going to probably be announced this Friday. I mean, we're not privy to exactly what the government's thinking, but I've sort of got a bit of an understanding as to what their agenda is. It's pretty clear to me that the Premier and the Planning Minister are very much focused on moving away from the traditional greenfield housing and starting to create a bit more vibrancy in the city and around the city in these growth corridors through increasing densities. And I wouldn't be surprised if there was something in there for purchases of apartments. And I wouldn't be surprised if that was in the form of stamp duty concessions or stamp duty abatement in its entirety for new apartments for a predetermined period of possibly 2 years, which will give investors and owner-occupiers in that sort of space the really good opportunity to get in the market and get set without needing to pay stamp duty.
That would make an amazing difference, and presumably that's not linked in any way to the Bowden development?
I think they're independent.
Of course they are.
I would think they're independent, but obviously Bowden's a pretty important project for the state and also for government. I mean, I think it's planned to have about 3,000 dwellings developed on it over the next 10 to 12 years. So there's a lot of stuff going on at Bowden, and you know, the proximity of Bowden to the city, it's fantastic, and I think government is really committed to making sure that it's a good project.
Justin, we'll come back for a bit more in a minute.
Sure.
All right. But in the meantime, let's go and look what's been sold and have a look at some rippers. Going, going, gone.